Hello, everyone. We're back officially, and I promise all of July is scheduled, so it's like for real this time. It's like scheduled with people and an Excel sheet and everything. Anyways, welcome back to Old Reader New Reader, everyone, including me and Omar and Amanda. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Amanda, or is it Superman? No, I'm just kidding.
I was hoping you poke your eyes out like
it's
that.
Supermanda.
Oh man!
The whole time.
So today we let our Patreons vote for what Superman story to read. They have chosen Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, the Deluxe edition. It was up against like some real good contenders too, like Man of Steel by John Byrne and Superman Up in the Sky, which is the most recent collection from Tom King. And I can't remember what else it went up against, but people decided to vote for this one. So I'm glad. I haven't read this one in it's been a few years since I've read it. So
yeah, that's what I think I've read most, like Superman stories. It's always nice where it's like, oh, here's nice new one.
Yeah, this is a really interesting era of Superman because this is taking place after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they were like saying goodbye to all of the Golden and Silver Age characters, either killing them off or just sending them off to outer space. And it was kind of like saying goodbye to Superman because we knew we were going to get a new writer. We were going to get a new origin story. We were going to get a new Superman for this new Earth. Yeah. And it was like saying goodbye to your father's Superman or your own Superman.
Yeah.
So I'm not getting emotional. It's just my throat. You've
been talking a
lot. Recording all day. So what's really interesting is that they were trying to get like Jerry Siegel to write it, who of course co-created Superman. And legality back then was a mess. There was a huge lawsuit because of the Superman movie. So at the end of the day, it would have taken a long time. They knew that they had to have this as the end cap of the Golden Age Superman, Silver Age Superman stories. So I think at the very beginning, there's a wonderful introduction from Paul Cooperberg talking about how Alan Moore threatened him if he could not write the last Superman story, because that's what they were going for. They were going for the final Superman story before we had to go say goodbye to this old friend. This is, of course, before we even knew there was going to be a follow-up to Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was Infinite Crisis, and why some people were upset with that. This is saying, yeah, goodbye to like your childhood hero. So it was Alan Moore attached to the project, and they couldn't think of anybody else better to draw it than Curt Swan. Curt Swan had been drawing Superman up until this point for like 30 years. So to a lot of people, he was the definitive Superman artist. Even long before the movie, like Christopher Reeve movies came out, that was the definitive look to Superman. George Perez inked the first part, which is phenomenal. I love his inks on that. And we say goodbye not just to Superman, but a lot of characters from this era. A lot of supporting cast, a lot of villains, and some of them go out in a heroic way and others not so much. And some of them break my heart and others not so much. But it is really cool to see, what I don't know. Like, to me, I think people sometimes forget just how much heart Alan Moore can write with, because they seem like, oh, he's just a cynical old man, which is what you see nowadays, right?
Yeah.
Just jaded by the way the comic industry and the industry himself. But honestly, a lot of it is like kind of brought it on himself too, when he's like, take my name off of that book. Once you say that, can't really complain that much.
Yeah.
When you're like, I don't want any royalties. Anyway, but this is at a time when he was still young and like full of ideas, and my gosh, this really hit. Okay, so I've talked a lot about the little bit of history here.
Yeah, so it certainly isn't what I would expect from like an Alan Moore Superman book. If you told me Alan Moore wrote Superman, I would be like, what? What are you talking about?
Same guy who did Swamp Thing.
Yeah, and I love Swamp Thing. But I mean, some other, not all of Alan Moore's stuff works for me, but I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. I love this immediately. It felt so human. You know, like it to me gives all the pieces that a Superman book gives. You know, where you really get to, like, spend time with people and relate to people, and it just the best part about Superman is his humanity. Like you really get a good sense of everyone, all of his like his friends and family and his
relationships.
villain. Yeah. So I was really, really happy with it because even though it's only, you know, there's lots of extra issues, but like the main two of them, what happened to the Man of Tomorrow is just 2 issues, but they're pretty beefy.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot that happens in those 2 issues. A lot.
I could easily just talk about these 2 issues forever.
Yeah.
So before we get into like the play-by-play, Amanda, what did you think?
What I think. So overall, I mean, I loved how I liked the nod and wink right at the end. I was hoping that was what I was going to expect with it. Because I was like, where are we going with, you know, it's kind of a bookend, right, of this story that Lois is telling of what happened to Superman, his last days on Earth, essentially. That's the whole thing. But what I really liked about it is just we get to see Superman grappling with his legacy on Earth and his legacy with all of his friends, his relationships with the 2 women in his life when he was Superboy and when he was with Superman, and the fact that these relationships, these people still love him no matter what. These feelings never really went away for some of these people. Lana, that still existed. It was still a thing. And how do you deal with that? And I like that, like those conversations he's had with Perry, and even so much so as it makes, you know, the things that are going on with Superman makes other people start to think about their own lives, like Perry and his wife, right? Alice, making them think about their relationship in their own lives. And you also see the, you know, the idea of legacy and the idea of, you know, finality of one's life with Supergirl, right? Because that had come up in this also. And Supergirl coming back from the future and not knowing what maybe happened to her.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And of course, Lex Luthor and his own legacy, right? That he's now, you know, what happens to him in this is very, very not exactly what I would imagine how Lex Luthor would want to go out. Right? That's not exactly how I imagine Lex Luthor would want his ending to be at the hands of something like Brainiac. But I mean, you know, essentially that's what ends up happening. But yeah, I loved this book, especially the nod and wink at the end, because I was like, how?
Yeah, we're going to get to that.
I know what's going to happen at the end. So how are they going to, how are we going to show it? And I thought it was really clever the way it was done at the end. So with little Jonathan. So yeah, I want to talk about it, but I liked these 2 issues a lot. I really did. Yeah. So it was fun. Even bringing in like hey, Scotty G, it's been a minute. I've not seen you forever.
Thank you so much for the.
Hey, how you been, dude? Yeah, I haven't seen him. I always comment
Fast
on
and Furious car. Is that a Fast and Furious car, Scotty G?
No, it is not a Fast and.
Are you sure it looks
real? That's a real muscle car.
They had muscle cars in the Fast and Furious.
Oh, do they? Please explain to me what Fast and Furious is, since I only watched one of them.
I've only seen 9 and 10, but that's not the time to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, they even brought in like the Justice League guy. Like they even brought in like Huh? No, I'm talking about. I'm sorry. Back to talking about Superman.
Are we talking about Fast and Furious?
Yes. Well, to be fair, Gal Gadot was in one of the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, we're over her now. So
we are over
what?
her.
You got over Gal? Oh,
yeah.
And she's also
the world just moves a lot faster than I do.
Yeah. But they even brought the Justice League in there, and there's like the comment about even like people like friends and maybe people who could have been lovers.
Yeah, nice. I can't ever handle that.
Yeah, I know. It was there's so much in 2 issues that just shows you who Superman is, and yeah, it was great. So yeah, let's talk about it because I enjoyed it.
Let's jump into the first issue, which is issue 423.
Yes. The 90s. What a I don't know if people dress like this in the 90s because they do say it was 90s.
This is 1980s.
Okay, 1985. Okay,
1990s. You know what people dress like in the 90s. You were there.
I know. I was there. Just double check it.
So I like even the first page we start off with. I'll try to share intermittently, but we start off with some good prose at the beginning
Very
from
nice.
Alan Moore that I actually really appreciate, the kind of like setting the tone.
Yes,
You know me, I'm not always for, but when I say it like wordy things, I don't mean always. I like it when it's done well, and it's interesting, and it adds to something. And I think the prose here at the beginning is very cute because it sets it up already. I love that it talks about already at the beginning, like, this is where we start. Superman's passed away, and this ends with a wink. So you already know to kind of look for some of these things through the 2 issues. But I love that, like, they talk about this sadness, like this is imaginary story, which may never happen, but then again may, about a perfect man who came from the sky and did only good. And it's just the way it's put together. Just that first part I really do appreciate. Especially towards the end where they talk about like people will still sometimes glance up hopefully from the sidewalks, glimpsing a distant speck in the sky, but no, it's only a bird, only a plane.
Yes.
Superman died 10 years ago. This is an imaginary story, but aren't they all?
I love that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of that. Oh, it was so good.
Because like what does this look like? And so like Amanda talked about, we start off with this reporter coming to write a Superman Memorial edition.
Him, right? Mm-hmm.
And he's come to talk to Miss Lois Lane, who is now Mrs. Lois Lane Elliott.
Who is this Elliott jerk?
Who's Elliott guy?
And it's written exactly like a certain Elliott I know in my room actually right now. And also she's got a very futuristic home. He never talks about it. I guess they were thinking that maybe 10 years in the future from that, it's going to look like that, but I assume it's Kryptonian, but he does not notice.
Well, I mean, in the way that he's dressed, I think it is definitely one of those, this is what the future is definitely going to look like.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I love like 80s movies and TV shows where they think the future is going to look like.
Because this is set in the 90s, technically, because it's 10 years in the future.
Yeah, right after 85. So 1995, they expected 1995 to look a little like this. I mean,
1980 something.
Where Jonathan is the baby is in a glass case, and already his name is Jonathan, so we're all like heated of like, okay, interesting.
Why would you name your baby Jonathan? Like,
maybe she really liked Superman's Earth Dad.
But
I like the way this starts getting set up because she talks about, he's asking about the end, everything that led up to his disappearance and death. And what was that like? Was it a happier time? And she's like, it's kind of odd. It was a kind of odd time because it was quieter. Yeah. And she doesn't really say like a quiet before a storm or anything, but she talks about like, well, Luthor was lying low. Brainiac was pretty much gone except for his head. And just things were a little bit quieter. She's like the Parasite and Terror Man destroyed each other. But some things started to kind of show up, but it had been like mostly quiet before then, almost like, which I love because it feels like we're getting into all of his villains saying goodbye one last time in like funny, weird ways. So we run into Bizarro first.
Bizarro, so sad the way that happened.
So sad.
Oh yeah,
like he comes to Earth because everything's the opposite. Like he realized he's imperfect, and so he like kills in order to be perfect, but then realizes that he needs to die and then kills himself with the blue kryptonite in front of Superman. And Superman's like, wait, no, you do not have to do this. Or you do.
That was harsh.
He's like, Bizarro.
But it's just the beginning, man. There's so much depth that like which is weird.
But can we talk about how they discovered he was Superman or that Clark?
Well, yeah, that's the next. That's the next thing, right? With the toy man.
Yeah.
Because I like this part right here because one is just really sad because he's like, your planet was destroyed and you came here as a kid, so I'm going to destroy my planet and come here as an adult, and then I'm going to kill people, and I'm going to kill myself. And like, okay. And we already started this kind of confusion, which I like the Alan Moore setting of just like this didn't make any sense. Yeah. Like, why is it happening this way? Like this is really odd. Like Bizarro is like, this doesn't make any sense at all, even by
Bizarro
Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now let's tell him Amanda about the, the unmasking of Superman.
So then the unmasking. So like they're in the newsroom at the Daily Planet, and they get a delivery for Clark, and it's all these little Superman toys, and they press their legs, and they have like a little like laser beam for eyes, but then they all start going haywire, and they're all targeting Clark. And when they do, they zap him, and all of his clothes comes off, and his glasses come off, and they're like, "Oh, you're wearing Superman's out. Oh, you're Superman." Like,
it is funny because
it was funny, like, but of course it's because
poor Pete Ross. We don't even see him die. He's just dead in a box.
Yeah, because he was the one like in the actual box the whole time. Like Pete Ross dies off screen, and of course it's who is it? The toy maker and
and Prankster, Toyman. Yeah, well, Toyman and Prankster.
Toyman and Prankster are the two. Yeah.
Yeah, who are the ones who and they killed Pete. Why would they kill Pete Ross? Like that's crazy. Just
People
to
want to
be
get
dying
Superman through his friends.
Superman, yeah, through his friends. Like so. Now, of course, this leads Superman. He's like, okay, so my friends aren't safe.
Well, and we had talked about this really great line where Lana Lang's like, oh my God, it was you all the time. And immediately the toys are so rude. Where they're like, it was him the whole time. He just combed his hair and stuck a pair on glasses. What a great gag. I thought that was so good. And like, you're a loser, bye.
Loser.
But, and then also they're acting really weird because they gave in right away.
Yeah, they also gave in right away.
And they weren't able to tell him why they've been murdering his friends. So already it's like really eerie and weird. But yeah, like what you were talking about, yeah, leading into that part of it, bringing his friends back. Oh, and Luther and Brainiac.
Yes.
Brainiac's head's left in the middle of the ice. Luther goes to find him. He's like, okay, now I'm going to use your technology. And Brainiac's like, psych.
I'm going to use your brain.
Yeah, that was really unexpected.
Oh.
When the first time I read it, because you expect Luther to always have the ace up his sleeve, the aha, gotcha moment. But this time around, it kind of turns it around on him that it's actually Brainiac that has the aha moment and takes advantage of Luthor.
Yep. And so Luther's now being controlled by Brainiac, and it kind of shows you like who is maybe the stronger of the two at the end of the day is really Brainiac, even though Luther always thought he was the smartest man.
Which is an interesting end to him.
Yes, it is.
I like how these are going, where it's a very like,
yes, yeah.
It's not how you think it's gonna go down.
Oh, no, exactly. It almost makes sense that of all the things, this would be Luther's downfall. His arrogance would be his downfall. Him thinking that he is going to take the technology of a being that is super powerful and super smart and use it to his advantage would be ultimately what would do him in. Not Superman. Superman's not necessarily smart. He's just powerful, invincible, but except when kryptonite's involved. But it's going to be Brainiac. That's what's going to do it. Sorry, Luther. Bad news bears.
Yeah, which I think, at some point it's interesting for him to have like a, like, this is actually what you deserve, Luther.
Yeah.
So then we go back to the planet, and I like, there's really good lines here. So I'm going a little more like, and it's only 2 issues, so we can do that. It's kind of nice.
Sometimes. Oh yeah, we can.
Because usually it's a bunch. I'm like, go.
Yeah, it's like a whole omni. We gotta really like. We don't got.
Yeah. But I love this line. There's so many good little lines because like we cut to the planet and Lois is still talking, and Amanda is Clark Manda again. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. I'm enjoying this. This is
I need these. These are not a costume.
Well, not me. 2020.
Because I've got my book right. I used to have 2020, and then I turned 40. Wait for it, Maddie. It's coming, baby.
To avoid it in 6 years. So.
Oh man,
well, I just got vision insurance, so we'll see.
Yours is gonna hit even worse. Wearing them fake ass glasses you don't even need. All right,
they're blue light. Okay. Anyways, there's a line in here that said the day when Superman lost a planet for the second time in his life. The way they kind of led into that, I thought was really interesting. To be like the Daily Planet, but also his just a little wordplay.
Lots
This
of play.
was. So we have Metalos show up, all of these kind of people that they didn't recognize turning into Metalos and attacking his friends directly, as well as like
oh my gosh, and they called Lois the alien loving trip. Like, out of my way, we want the alien loving trip. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
They're evil aliens.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with loving aliens, okay? It's like totally normal.
It's totally normal. Yeah.
Kryptonite Man. Is that what he's called? Kryptonite Man?
Yes, his name is Kryptonite. It took me a while. I was like, is he have a name? Then I realized it's just Kryptonite Man.
So Kryptonite Man shows up, and Crypto comes back.
Oh,
and we're gonna get into this eventually, but they're like, shortly another friend joined us. Now this is where it feels like a storybook. Crypto had been roaming the stars for years, and now he's returned. Why? Unless he'd sensed what the rest of us had. Despite our welcoming hugs, his arrival struck an ominous tone. Don't do this to me, Alan Moore.
Don't do this to me, James Gunn. You better not do anything on July 11th. I better not see anything happen to Crypto, or I'm going to have words with.
You know, he loves killing animals, right?
Like, I do know. He can't kill Crypto.
Sure you can.
Did you not watch Guardian 3? Because I did.
I did, but I'm just hoping that at least not the first movie. Don't kill Crypto.
You're right.
This is such an absolute statement. Got to treat it as like they did in Starship Troopers with Alton.
Listen, if those aliens show up, I'm romancing them.
Well, yeah, depending on what they look like. If they look like Kryptonite Man, no thank you.
No, pass on him.
Yeah, Kryptonite Man looked weird. He was looking at an alien.
Unless you're into that, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Crypto show up, and then Lana and Lois kind of have a moment together.
We've got to talk about that.
Oh yeah, when they end up in the fortress. So basically, he takes all of his friends from the planet to the fortress, and Harry's wife Alice. Even though they're on the outs, they're getting a divorce. To the Fortress of Solitude, and they're there, and it's interesting because Lana and Lois have a moment, and Lois is like in her while she's narrating to McCrane, the guy she's talking to from the Daily Planet in the future. She's like, we were enemies, then we were like had like an understanding, that we were strangers, but now all of a sudden we like became close because we have this connection together, and they're we love the same man, we're scared for him. We know what this means, like being here. Oh,
it's like so sweet.
Yeah. Would I feel the same way? I don't know, but I would like to think that I would have the same kindred like companionship with the woman who's also in love with the same man I'm in love with. I don't know.
I guess if you think you're both going to die and he's going to die.
Shut up, Omar.
But I thought that was beautiful.
Amanda gets mad when a rival TikToker gets more views than she does. She ain't gonna scratch a bitch's eye out. She ain't gonna get along with nobody.
We both love Patrick Stump, but you're out first.
Real quick, yes, Tentacle Lady in Galaxy Quest. Obviously.
Yeah. Doug knows what's going on.
Yeah.
I love that whole scene, but nothing breaks my heart as much as Kara showing.
That right there. Yeah, that was
And she's like, "Hey, I'm visiting." Yeah.
Show it. I love that page.
It's great because right before that, because he's near the statue.
Yeah.
He's talking to Crypto, and then she shows up.
And it's the whole Legion, right? From the 30th century.
Yeah.
With the whole Legion. She's like, hey, it's really great to see you. Man, I must be a really cool grown superwoman now. He's like, yeah, you grew up so good.
He was just like standing in front of her like memorial statue too in the previous page. And, I hope she didn't see it.
And he's pissed because her Brainiac, like, you know that she's dead in this era. Yeah. You're from the future and it's history to you.
Yep.
Yeah, Brainiac always had a mad crush on Supergirl. I don't in every version of the Legion.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't stop it. Like, I understand. But he's like tries to turn around on him like, hey, in your past, you've seen some of our future. Would you tell us if you knew of some unavoidable doom awaiting it? Like he's tries to turn it on him. But of course, Brainiac's there for a reason. It's our boy. Oh, but it's devastating. So they just have to talk around it and just be like, yeah, you're in the past right now. That's what it is.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Exactly. But then he gives him a little gift, a gold statue of him with some type of device he's holding.
And he's like, oh, so you're here to pay your last respects. And it's then that he realized that he's going to die.
Yeah.
That this is the end. And this last page of the issue.
Oh yeah. That's so sad.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Oh.
I love that line too. He looked like as if he'd been crying. And then because the very next issue is him. And there's a lot of debate as to the Superman cover to Action Comics 583.
Mm-hmm.
You have superheroes there, and then you have Paul Kuperberg and a couple of other creators that are in the forefront. I love that
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't realize those were the creators. I thought they were like extra people.
One of them is I think it's Jeanette, if I'm not mistaken.
The woman with the V-neck, is that?
Yeah. And I mean, she was DC Comics for decades. I mean, absolutely. Like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And was the other one? It might have been Julius Schwartz. I can't remember who the other person was on that. But the tears in his eyes, like, there's debate whether that was Kurt Swan's tears or Superman's tears within the story. So it's a really, I mean, it's a lot of beautiful things behind the scenes too for this particular story.
I think even that first issue is getting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really good.
We finally get to meet Jordan, right? This douchebag named
man.
Jordan. Yeah, with a mustache, that Tom Selleck mustache, which according to my buddy Lars, only 3% of the male population can pull off a mustache. I was like, that is a very specific.
Not doing what I want to do. But yeah.
There he is.
That man.
He's got this like gray hair right here on the sides.
Yeah, looking like Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually, he does look like Pedro Pascal, Mr. Fantastic.
And he's just a regular man. And I love it because he's like, hey, I hope you don't mind. I'm interviewing your wife about, it's like, or ex. I can live with it. He weren't nothing special. Us working slobs, son. We're the real heroes.
Like, we're the real heroes. Over the top do you have to be, sir, with your futuristic jacket that looks like it did not come from 1995.
It was definitely the 90s. It's what the 90s were supposed to be. But it's still, we got Junko jeans and
what else? That's the 90s, man.
Junko,
and now they're all back. So nothing.
I know. My wife
drives a Trans.
That dude does look like he drives a Trans.
Oh, for sure. He's a nice working man.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys are the real heroes.
What is this like coffee? Like can we talk about the coffee machine that like the round like dome shaped like glass coffee machine thing they've got? Like what is that?
Oh, I think that's supposed to be a take on the city of Candor.
No,
like, the glass city.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a coffee machine. Because like if you look at it from like the first panel, you're like, oh man, they got the glass city of Candor. No, it's just a coffee machine. So like if you have been reading comics, it's like, okay.
He does.
He definitely smells like sandalwood. That man smells good.
What are you three talking about? Well, you still talking about the guy with the Jordan?
Jordan.
Yeah, I'm talking about Jordan.
You all know who you're really talking about.
Jordan can get it. Okay.
And he smells like sandalwood.
Well, yeah. He's the alien that anyway. This goes on to the big fight between Superman and friends.
Yeah, all the remaining people show up.
Yeah, and even his other friends get superpowers. Like Jimmy Olsen and Lana get
they
superpowers.
decide they don't want to sit around and do nothing. So Lana sits in that bath to get her special powers that I guess had happened to her once before.
Very
Yeah,
Silver
she
Age
was, so,
stories.
she was so cute about it. She's like, remember we had powers a little bit? So I think that's really sweet. That's so sweet. Like, even though I don't know those stories, like, it's a cool callback.
It was a cool callback. And if I had actually read those stories, it would have been like, oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he became Elastic Lad at one point, or took the serum and became Elastic. You mean Mr.
Those are legit. Those are all like Silver Age stories.
Yeah.
Like Silver Age stories that just, over time were forgotten. But I love it.
And there's some great lines in here too. Like Jimmy says, all these years they've called me Superman's friend. I figure here's where I start paying for the privilege.
That's a great line.
The fact that they're so quick to like, hey, we need to figure out how we're going to be helping. But also at the same time, Lana's like, all right, I'm getting my senses, X-ray vision, microscopic vision, super hearing, and then of course immediately
she hears him talking to Perry about how he loves them both, but he really just loves Lois. Like, he loves Lois. Like, that's the love of his life. And he doesn't want to tell Lana. Yeah.
Since I've grown and become a man, there's only one woman for me. Lois, beautiful Lois, but I can't tell her without hurting Lana. I'd never hurt Lana, so I just walk around with this secret, this weight in my heart, and I'll carry it with me to the grave. Oh. And she's like, doesn't matter. Nobody loved him more than us. Nobody. She still goes out.
Yep. She's still going to go no matter what with Jimmy. Might be to her detriment, but...
Yo, man, they only made it like 2 pages.
I know, they made 2 pages.
It's so wrong.
Because Brainiac's there with Mr. Kryptonite Man and these trio of people who came from the future.
Yeah, that's the
Legion of Supervillains.
Supervillains, yeah. Those are legit characters. Mm-hmm.
They wanted to be there. They know what's about to happen and they want to partake. So they show up to help out. Interesting.
And they died so fast. I mean, luckily it seems
they did.
Lana kind of helps kill Lex somewhat, right? When she slaps him, I guess.
Yeah, she slapped
his body seems kind of dead, right? Because it seems like at a certain point Brainiac just like shuts down. I wasn't quite sure how that worked.
Yeah, she slaps him silly.
Yeah.
And because he's like, kill me, Lana. Like begging for mercy, so she slaps the crap out of him, but
then the worst death.
Oh God, I know.
Oh yeah, I know.
There's no excuse. Krypto comes in to fight Kryptonite Man, and he's like, okay, whatever, and he just mauls him until he's dead. But then also he gets all the kryptonite on him,
and then
this line, I'll cry.
Yes,
I was with Superman when he heard his pet's death howl, but we couldn't do anything.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
That's a tough one. Oh,
yeah,
man.
That was a tough one.
Ugh.
And then on another note, Alice and Perry decide to make up and maybe not get a divorce. That did happen during this whole siege. That was a good thing.
So we better make up for last time. And I was like, get
it. You guys go in that room and go do your thing. Good for you two. Good for you guys. And then of course, even though Lex's body is gone, Brainiac can still control, like Lex's mind is gone, but he can still control his body. So he tries to kill Superman, but then he can't.
His body just shuts down.
Yeah.
Like analysis, stiffening of limbs, difficulty in movement. And I actually like this a lot because I think how interesting is it for these two, top Superman villains, right? To kind of die with like a whimper.
Yeah.
Not in a serious fight, but their own hubris. Lex for thinking he can control Brainiac, and Brainiac for thinking that he can just attach himself to a mortal body and like survive. and make it out of that.
Oh,
And I kind of liked it.
I like that.
They just had the lamest death, and I was like, you know what? I really like that.
And knowing that behind it all, they weren't even the great masterminds behind all of this. It wasn't even them at the end of the day. They think they're the smartest ones, and it wasn't even them. It was the one whose name I could never remember how to pronounce.
Mxypytlk.
All right, let me hear you. Let me hear Amanda try.
No,
I always mess this one up. And to defeat him, you got to say his damn name backwards. I can't even say it forwards. All right, what do you got, Amanda?
Mxypytlk.
That sounds like a racist
You tried
term towards this alien.
Yeah, so Mxypytlk shows up, and I think that's the
wow.
coolest.
You said that like you fucking know how to say it.
Oh, because he's in the shows and stuff. I'm no Mxypytlk. But it's so cool because like you get to this point where they're like, finally it all cues in, right? So like, why did Bizarro do this? Why were Toyman and Prankster doing murders? Like, and then not owning up to like, why are all these things happening? And he's like, wait a second. There's also the force field's still up around them because like the Just League can't get in, they can't get out. Like, well, we killed everyone's dead.
Yeah,
we should get out. And he's like, wait a second, it's him. And I love this because like he goes this whole spiel, right? He's dramatic. And he's like, for my first 2,000 years, I didn't move, I didn't do anything. For the next 2,000, I tried to be good. And I was over it. So then for 2,000 years, I tried to be mischievous. It's like, now I'm just going to be evil and I'm going to kill you. And that's my plan for the next 2,000 years. And when I'm done with that, maybe I'll feel remorseful.
Yep.
And he's like, I also like, I love this. Like, did you honestly believe a fifth dimensional sorcerer would resemble a funny little man in a derby hat? Do you want to see how I really look? And I was like, hell yes, Mxypytlk. I would have never expected this. I mean, he kind of looks a little lame.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I was expecting something a little bit.
He looks like a freaking giant, ugly monster. He doesn't look lame.
For the time, it's fine. But imagine this right now. Oh.
Yeah, if you showed this to a kid in like 2025, they'd be like,
all right, Amanda, if you're walking down a dark alley and this dude steps out from the corner, you're not gonna be like,
okay, I will give you that.
You damn right you will.
Okay. I guess if that came out looking like that,
if he's naked, that's really scary. I'm going the other way.
Scary, I guess. Yes. If it was more hyper realistic, it probably would look pretty damn creepy. To me than what it does look like.
But very cool concept.
Yeah, I like the idea of what I really look like. That's really cool.
I mean, to be fair, he looks like a guy in a bowler hat. They could have changed maybe the head and stuff so it didn't look so bowler hattery looking.
But this though,
I mean, he still has a bowler hat.
This is one of the coolest things.
Oh, the mirror trick?
Oh my god,
that was smooth, man.
Because basically, without doing it for real, Brainiac in the future has been like, give him this trophy of him, right? The statue as a goodbye present, but just show him a hint of what to do. And so he shows him like, I guess, the mirror for at least the Phantom Zone. Mm-hmm. And so he says, that's right, Mxypytlk, time to die, which is not a typical Superman thing. But then he does this, and he says Mxypytlk, or I guess Mxypytlk tried to say it backwards. It tears him apart. Because he's trying to go back to his realm, but half of him's getting torn to the Phantom Zone. So he just gets torn in half.
Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Not a good death for that guy.
Yes.
And then we get this moment, Lois talking about, like, Superman. He's like, I killed him. Yeah. And I intended to kill him. I couldn't let anything that powerful, malignant survive, so I might have just did it. I broke my oath. I killed him. And he's like, nobody has a right to kill. Not Mxypytlk, not you, not Superman, especially not Superman. And she says, he turned and walked away in complete silence. I ran after him, calling his name. He didn't reply. And by the time I realized where he was heading, it was too late. And she says, I never saw Superman again. But what's funny is he walks into Gold Kryptonite room
Yeah.
and just kind of looks back at her and smiles. And she's like, and that's basically what happened. Boop, boop, boop. You're like,
Yep. And we see everyone like the aftermath, and you see them, with Jimmy and dead Lana, and
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
sad. Like all these dead friends of it. Well, villains too, right? But like,
yeah, you see
Yeah.
like Robin holding on to dead Crypto, and Lana's just sitting there. They tried to open, and I think what was it? Captain Marvel and Superwoman tried to open up the vault, but they couldn't open it up. I guess they'd be like the strongest people to open it up, but they couldn't get it open.
yeah. And I
Yeah.
remember the Batman describing it as like walking amongst the fragments of a legend.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was so sad. But yeah, like, oh, yep, never found his body.
Yep. When they did open it up, they said that, yeah. They said they figured he just walked into like the sub-zero temperatures and froze to death. I'm like, this is Superman. We think Tim's gonna believe that happened to him.
Oh, that's great. Because it leads into, at the end, our new man, our new favorite, Mr. Elliot.
Jordy. He brings the baby, Jonathan, who has a dark hair.
And she's like, well, I guess the meeting won't be bothering us for 10 years. They're talking back and forth. And she's like, you really love it, don't you? Just going to work every day, taking out the garbage, changing the diapers. And she's like, you're pretty hard on Superman. He's like, Superman is overrated and wrapped up in himself. He thought the world couldn't get along without him.
yeah.
Oh.
Well, you see the kids playing with coal. And then you see the kid just crushes the coal and turns it into a diamond. So clearly, that's not no normal child, guys.
And then we end up
He's
with this
a really
very
strong kid.
This little wink.
Oh, I love that ending. God,
he clearly
bless.
dyes his hair, right? Because they know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Like what a.
Well, what does gold kryptonite do? Does it change how you look?
What does it do?
Just takes away his powers. But
is
I
that
do
what they
love
did in
that.
the movie?
No, they didn't use gold kryptonite. They used something else.
He took away his powers in the movie.
Yeah, they used the crystals to take away powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she says, "Oh God, I love this line." Pizza. After that, if Jonathan's quiet, I thought maybe bed with a bottle of wine. And after that, I figured we just live happily ever after. Oh,
so good.
it's so good.
It's just, it's honestly, I couldn't ask for a better ending for him. Where, like, I mean, everything's really sad. All about to die, and I don't like that. But as far as like, your villains are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Superman can die, and you get to just live.
Yeah, he can just be a normal guy now, which is what he's always really wanted.
Yeah.
He's really just wanted to have that life, but he's had this greatness, this responsibility thrusted upon him, whether he liked it or not. And
now he doesn't have to because other heroes can take over.
Yeah.
Like you said, his biggest villains are gone. Yeah. It's a perfect bookend to who Superman was. And, I can assume to some people this was it, right? Like this was their last Superman story because they didn't want to read anymore. They're going to do away with Superman. What's the point? They're going to revamp him because it was really the first time DC had done that, like actually do a big hard reboot with Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I'm sure that pissed off a lot of the old readers, back in the day. And I'm sure a lot of them stayed, but to some people I can see this being like that's the last Superman story.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did, man, because I love, to me, no matter what Superman looks like, I'm always happy to read a Superman story. Like, I think there's so much to have there, and so I'm really excited for the movie too. And that's kind of why we're doing this too, because the movie's coming out.
There's a movie?
July 12th, and I'm going first day.
July 12th. I tried to get an early screening. Didn't happen. All that was left was like the front row, and that's it.
Yeah, but we're going. When are we going? Thursday.
I think that's opening day.
Yeah,
but there was like a July 8th screening.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Are the tickets finally on sale now? Because they were waiting for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to grab mine. I know that
That and I think Fantastic
Andrew
Four tickets.
wants to go.
Fantastic Four tickets are on sale too. They actually went on sale first, and they sold really well.
Yeah, they did.
And Superman went on sale, and Superman outsold Fantastic Four. So
Yeah,
Superman has outsold Fantastic Four for sales.
yeah, at least their first pre-sales.
They need that win, man. Seriously, DC movies. Oh,
well, honestly, their marketing campaign. I don't know who they hired for the Superman marketing campaign, but they are killing it on all fronts. And maybe it's because I just love the cast so much.
Oh, the cast is great.
I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better cast. It's almost like I cast it myself, but they are like so perfect.
And James Gunn has got he understands.
Yes, it's true.
And he understands these stories.
Yeah.
And just by like looking at what movies he's selecting for his run, like absolutely like that. And the minute I finished Creature Commandos, I was like, this man gets it.
Yeah, that was such a good that was a good show. There was a picture of him, I think it was a marketing picture of him reading an omnibus. Like he's just like sitting in front of his library. But of all the omnis he could have picked, there was that DC what was it? The DC Rebirth omnibus, which had the one issues. So man, the comments were just hilarious. They were like, "You're just reading one issue of each book. It doesn't even continue into the next story."
He did that on purpose. Yeah, he totally did that.
This is Josh is asking if this is like Hulk the End. No, this actually has. I mean, despite of all the death, it ends with hope and it has a happy, like they live happy ever after ending.
Oh yeah.
That unlike, I don't want to spoil what happens in Hulk the End until we talk about it on the channel, but it's a lot different than that. Like Superman, in the end isn't alone.
Yeah, you made out for Lana, but it's happy for Lois and Superman.
No, yeah, this isn't the Lana comic.
Well, and I do feel like at least their deaths are really sad, but I do feel like
they are.
They did something.
Yes, really they didn't just die as collateral. They tried.
Yeah, they weren't fridged, which I appreciate. Yeah. They were like genuine deaths of people that were like, "Hey, this is our time to protect you."
Exactly.
And it shows the vulnerability of Superman. Like the vulnerability of Superman is being Clark Kent himself, right? And all the friendships that he's built over the years. That's the only way to really destroy the Man of Steel. And the villains found out. And that's why that newspaper clipping is very important. What's it say? Like Clark Kent exposed or something? Like, because after that is when everything falls apart, which is, why there's this whole argument, should superheroes hide their identity and things like that, and why things like Civil War piss people off. But have we done Civil War on the channel? For old reader, new reader?
No,
I don't think we did. I think we have
James. Wait a minute. Where is James? Did we leave him?
No, we just did it for like we were doing like movie versus the comic.
Yeah.
Clearly, we didn't get to that one.
We can't keep doing really great books. We got to do some stinkers. But honestly,
I've done some stinkers on here.
Well, yeah, and I have too. But honestly, I think that's the beauty of doing a show like this. Like you find out things that you like aren't necessarily the same thing everybody else likes, and you try to understand why they don't like them. It's always really fun. Like, what didn't you get?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it does make it hard choosing for guests and stuff. Like, I messaged Dom. I was like, "What kind of book are you in the mood for?" And he's like, "Any book." And I'm like, "Dom, no, you've read a lot. Don't."
Yeah,
yes.
If it's one of my friends, I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine, easy." Like. Tina's gonna come on in August, and she requested Red Sun, and I was like, "Okay, let's go."
Absolutely. Yeah, Tina's interested in reading a lot of comics when she comes over and films TikToks.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that sounds really good." We're doing this TikTok of like 2 truths, 1 lie. It's been a lot of fun. Of nice. Like, I tell her the ridiculous storylines that happen in comic books, and then she guesses which one the lie is. And so far, she is 0 for 2. Like it's really difficult because it's like, which one is the truth?
I mean, it reminds me of like, there's a podcast I listen to, my brother and me, and for a couple of years in a row, they did a bit called "That's a Hallmark Movie to Me" or something,
Mhm.
where they would give you the descriptions of 3 movies of Hallmark movies, and you had to guess which one wasn't one, like
The
which one
title.
they made up
Yeah.
by like the description. And I was like, that's basically the same deal because you're like, this anything could happen.
We did that with manga with Jess on Omnibros many
Ooh.
years ago. I think they still did it after I left, but it was such a fun idea because when I did it, we were just using fake titles, real or fake manga. And then when they took over, they were like, how about we read the description of the manga and Jess has to guess. It's a lot of fun when somebody doesn't really know. Like Amanda could play that game with me with Fall Out Boy songs. They all sound emo and ridiculous. I'm gonna say, sure, yeah, that's a real song, right? Right. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I do.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Thank you, James. The only war comic book you did was World War.
Which was perfect.
That was a great comic.
book.
Wow. Okay, that sounds like we need a lot of books to do.
I mean, what an appropriate time to talk about war.
Yeah, I think now's the time. Let's talk about it.
There's this one Batman story where he uses a gun. Hey, easy. Have we done, James, have we done Batman Year 2?
There's no way we haven't, right? Because isn't it your favorite?
That's one of my favorites, but everybody hates it. Not everybody, I'm sorry. A lot of people hate it. It's the one with the Reaper.
If we haven't, we have to do that because I've heard you talk about it so much.
Yeah, I love that story. What was there were some that surprised me. I think the Dark Phoenix Infamous. that one still hurts to even talk
We
about.
did Year 1, but not Year 2.
Yeah, we did do Batman Year 1. That was one of our earliest episodes.
That was.
We should do Year 2.
We should, but next month we're doing.
Maybe that's what the next Batman will be.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Ryan North, issues 1 through 25, and he's still writing the story.
I'm excited.
James is saying no.
Yeah,
but you need to.
Everyone else.
What do you mean you don't need to? Everybody should read everything. I've got to read so many goddamn bad comics. Woo! Everybody should just feel the pain. The Dark Phoenix ORNR was epic. Oh my god, I was so drunk and that did not help.
It was great. That's why I feel like I need to pick a drunk book for me for birth.
Like something you love that we can crap on. That's what that feels like. I don't want to make you cry.
Case.
Unless I end up loving it. Then I'm going to be like, wow, Maddie, you've opened my eyes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I haven't decided all the books for next month yet, but I've got most of the guests scheduled. So I can say for everybody, next week, Jess is coming on. And we are reading Batgirl, Cassandra Cain Batgirl, because neither of us have read any Cassandra Cain. Isn't that crazy? Me or Jess. We've never read any Stephanie Brown. We've never read any
my favorite Batgirl.
And so I gave him a call last week and I was like, what should we do? So I was like, let me just call you so we can talk through it. So, and then Andrew's going to be on the week after. I'm trying to think of a fun book to recommend to him. Something fun and fantasy and sci-fi. So I don't know.
A good Superman book would be fun.
Yeah.
He likes Superman, right?
Oh, he loves Superman. We read the one, I think the second volume's finished now, but the Superman movie comic book.
That was really good. The Robert Venditti one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we read the first volume.
Superman 78.
One.
Yeah. That was really good.
I really like that one. Yeah. And I gotta pick something fun for Dom, but it's always hard when somebody's read a lot of comic books because you're like,
he has like, especially now he's reading a lot of the DC Finest, which is a lot of the Silver Age stories, but
I'll do an indie book then.
There's a lot of books he hasn't read too that you could introduce him to, or vice versa. He could introduce you to some stuff. But yeah,
I'll do indie.
I honestly don't hear him talk about indie books at all.
Okay.
Get him into some Terry Moore.
Oh yeah, I could do Rachel Rising or something.
Who was the other writer we really liked? That's Spinning and oh my gosh.
Oh, Tilly Walden.
Yeah, she got anything new?
I don't think so. I don't think so. She wrote the Tegan and Sarah books.
Like
the artist, yeah.
Oh, I
So
didn't know they had
Tegan and Sarah and Tilly Walden collab.
No.
Get her to write a book about their life.
Cool.
I got it, Maddie. What you
What?
do with Dom is you introduce him to some monster love stories.
No, never the two shall meet. Unless
Wait, which two?
I met some of the like influencers who do those reviews, and I'm like, if I could find a book that would work, I might invite one of them on. People don't need to know.
All right.
I'm not gonna have Dom read Sunstone.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be crazy for like first time. Like, hey, welcome.
I-
Wanna read Sunstone with me?
We three did that, didn't we?
Well, yeah, but we're friends. I mean, that's different.
Well, I just
did
remember thinking, I'm like, man, these women talk too much. I did not like this book. That I wanted to get into the dirty, and I was tricked into reading a love story.
You know, I might suggest Helen of Windhorn for
That
Andrew.
book is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, it's drawn beautiful, and the story is really good. Very like, it's actually like a lot like Conan the Barbarian, and less of what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be a deluxe edition too in January. I can't wait to see that.
Because I've been wanting to read that.
Oh, yep. Have you not read it? It's wonderful.
No,
man.
I've been waiting
Oh,
until it was done.
yeah, it's.
I mean, Josh is right. Most of that is talking.
Actually, I think so. Yes, but yeah, more power to you though if you like that. Omar, in 3 weeks is my birthday. My uncle got me Blood Hunt trade paper. You really like Blood Hunt, don't you, Hunter? Because it's your name. Trade paperback, the one I was talking about on Saturday live streams, and I already have a copy. Good deal, buddy. Burglar and Maddie.
Oh, it's Elliot walking around.
Yeah, I was like, there's so it just keeps running.
Hey, what are those? What are those two prints you have behind you?
Which ones? These ones?
Yeah, is that a Matthew Mahey print?
Oh, up here?
Like, no, the sketch, the
Yeah.
the artwork.
This one is.
Yeah. What's
It,
okay?
He drew Wonder Woman. Oops, dropped a figure in a wedding dress for my wedding.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
when
so
he's-
sweet?
that's pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the other one?
I can't remember the signature, but it's a Donna Troy sketch I got that was sent in.
that.
Tom Grumet.
Yeah.
He did the Titans books. Was that the one you sent out? Did you get that done, or did Alex?
No,
send
it was
that?
sent to me.
I can't remember who sent that to you.
I can't either. That's why I didn't want to say.
Oh,
But it's one of my favorites.
It's beautiful.
I know.
He's the guy that drew the Titans. What would you two give this book?
Yeah, we didn't rate it yet.
Oh yeah. I
Mm,
was really happy with it
yeah.
Happiness is good.
because I don't know what else I changed. I think it's so unique.
Mhm.
I think it just is. I want to say a 9.
9 out of 10. Okay.
I could give it a 9 out of 10. I could have had it been longer.
Yeah, I mean,
Could have got more out of it, but I thought it was great.
yeah, they could have delivered. I mean, like if I was gonna like make this better, right? I think it's very good. I think I don't know. Mxypytlk wouldn't look the way he did. You could have gone further to make it even like stronger emotional punch. But I think there's something really nice in like the way that it was put together. That it wasn't super trauma in there, right? It was just like this is what's happened. I don't know. There's something really nice and like light about it.
Yeah.
That makes
And
sense. I don't have the words to describe that, but
One
makes
thing I forgot in reread, it doesn't take that long to read, unlike some other works by Alan Moore.
yeah.
It's a pretty quick read compared to some of his other stuff. This is still a 10 out of 10 for me. I love this story. I think it's perfect. I don't think I would change anything. I understand the design.
Oh, well, that's like the most minuscule. Like if I had to pick something.
And that's okay. Yeah,
I
it's a
love this.
very important story, and I'm glad that both of you enjoyed it. And now we're ready to go watch Superman.
Yep.
Yes, I'm gonna cry.
I'm so excited. I think it's going to be such a great film. It
Man,
better not.
we got a good month ahead of us. I'm stoked.
Yes, I think July is going to be a good month for movies.
Finally,
Right.
June's
certainly-
not been great. So
June. Yeah, I mean, do I want to go see 28 Years Later? I don't know, but
I do.
Yeah.
Except if you are somewhat, from what I've read in the reviews, if you are someone who is expecting it to be a direct tie into the previous two, do not come in with that expectation.
I think the later movies might be, right?
No, do
But
not.
That's what he said. I thought he said like
not 28 later. No,
well, no, but like the I think they said like because this one's going to be a trilogy.
It is, yes.
So Villian's character is supposed to be showing up later.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that anything that happened in 28 days and 28 weeks, there's like little to no. Like
I'm okay with that. I'm okay
with
ignoring 28 weeks.
Yeah.
That was not.
I will say I did love the How to Train Your Dragon remake.
Yeah.
And I think why I like, because also like the Lilo and Stitch, and I think why I liked those better than I liked any of the remakes of the Disney like princesses is because they're not trying to redo. There's no songs to redo. There's no it's just there's something different about just a regular straight up live action the movie versus trying to make a musical spectacle. There's something different about it. And I think those two films lend themselves better to doing a live action than like Beauty and the Beast did or Little Mermaid. Trying to change up songs with different singers and that just I think that's why those never hit the same as
I heard it did really well at the box office, and it's the second week in a row, right? Like it's still number one.
Still number one, yeah, it is. Yep. And the new Pixar movie did not do well, which we'll talk about.
For it. I feel like they barely talked about it.
They didn't promote
the marketing was awful.
No, yeah, so I was like,
I don't know what they expect. It's Disney's fault. Like, I don't know what they expect. Once again, yes.
Yeah, it sucks. Like the last two Pixar movies have done bad.
Talk about it. But you know what is good? K-pop Demon Hunters on Netflix.
I heard this too.
Amanda, you'll love
it. I heard there's there's potential. Yeah, I heard the music's fantastic. My sister was just texting me about that. Have you watched K-pop Demon Hunters? I said, not yet. She's like, you
gotta watch it.
Great. So I have to check that out because I also heard
Omar, watch it with your daughters. They'll love it. So
yeah, I think they probably would. I think I have to watch it with Linda. She would probably like it.
Oh yeah, she can watch it.
I do want to watch the Penguin Lessons. I met Alex and a bunch of these folks in the chat right now this weekend. A lot of these guys I finally met for the first. I met James. James was real.
James is real. Was there? James, did you meet Kristen too? Oh my God! Kristen brought the baby too,
and Mary was there. It was like a big gathering of like people I've talked to online for years.
Next year I'll do it. There's no travel.
You two should. It's Heroes Con. It's amazing.
I want to go Heroes Con. I want to go to the New York Comic Con. Those are my like comic book or my convention.
New York is a lot of fun. It's huge. It's a lot different than Heroes. Heroes is like laid back.
I just want to hang out with Comic Pals and Joe.
Oh well, yeah. Sean has a really good panel that he wants me to be a part of at New York Comic Con, which is the reason why I'm thinking about going back this year. Because I'm almost 90% sure I'm going to go to the Thought Bubble in London. And that would be the big con. Because the idea is to try to get out and do cons that take me out, right? And do things. And out of the country is a good excuse to go, hey, let's travel while we are out here. We did Dragon Con. Tina and I went to Dragon Con with Melanie and Heather, and that's a party, man. That's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of fun. I did. I stalked him and his son at two different restaurants. And I was like, I swear I'm not following you. This is gonna be really weird. Alex was there, Matt was there. We hung out with Mark Buckingham Friday night getting drunk and doing the drink and draw. It was a lot of fun because all that goes to like a good cause. Yeah. Like all the art that is donated. So yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Melanie has become a big Kyle Starks fan.
Oh, I love Kyle.
Loves Kyle.
Kyle's my
I'm like, he's not that funny. Just like Chip Zdarsky isn't that funny.
Kyle's crazy funny.
Yeah.
Omar, I'm a little jealous.
I say it to their faces. I love those guys. Yeah. Alex met Omnidog. Omnidog went out one night. Dude, he partied so hard, he was out the rest of the weekend. He's like, I'm going to stay in my hotel.
That's cute. All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank you for letting us join you, Maddie. When is the next old reader, new reader with the
I'll
three
be
of
here next. Oh, with you and me, all of us. With the three of us, we are going to be back on because I have an Excel sheet now. July 22nd, so you can find the OG crew again. We'll be reading Fantastic Four to prep for the movie.
Yeah, the Ryan North Fantastic Four 1 through 25. If you want to read along with us, it's a blast. If you haven't read
And
it,
you can catch me and Jess, aka the Omnidog, next week.
Yep.
Talking about Batgirl, because neither of us have read it, which is crazy. So it's really fun.
Oh, I hope you both like it. I love that run. All right, everybody. Oh, wait, this isn't my show. I'm sorry about that, man. That's on me.
All right, everybody.
There we go.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us and chatting with us. Hope we see you next week. Hope you like this video. Comment down below if you're catching us later. If you have any thoughts you want to share about what happened to the Man of Tomorrow, or any suggestions for the rest of the year now that we are finally back on schedule. And of course, subscribe for future videos. Y'all know that. Check out our Patreon. You can vote for our pick of the month for Old Reader, New Reader. Not for this next month, it's decided. But the month after that, you could certainly vote. And of course, come back tomorrow. I assume you're doing Reels Talk tomorrow?
We are. Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Let's go. Let's talk about some Ironheart. So we're going to switch our gears and let's talk Marvel.
Switching gears. Okay. Got it.
All right, guys. Have a good night. And we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Everyone.